I'm here beside the bee borders at the Botanic Garden. I'm Sally Pettit and I'm Head of Horticulture, and today I'm going to take you on a virtual tour of the Botanic Garden, showing some of the highlights at this time of year. This is something I would ordinarily do for the Festival of Plants, taking many of our visitors around to see just what's looking great at the moment. So this is today's version. I'm here beside the bee borders. In the foreground you can see the yellow flowers of Cerinthe minor, intermingled with those lovely globe flower heads of Allium Purple Sensation, and behind it the beautiful delicate flowers of Iris Sibirica Tycoon. Everything here is planted to attract bees and really does a fantastic job of doing just that. So one of the very popular plants here with bees is the very familiar garden chive, which is really truly attractive for pollinating bees foraging for food here. Most of the plants here have single flowers, which tend to be the ones that really do attract the pollinators, and of the colour spectrum we have most colours here except for reds, which bees aren't attracted to at all. So there tends to be a predomination of yellows and blues and purples and mauves in the plantings throughout the year. But we have year-round interest in these plantings, so can attract pollinators right through the year. And another favourite here is Cerinthe major purpurascens. This really does a very good job of attracting bees, as we can see here at the moment. Flowers are full of nectar and it has the common name honeywort, which is very appropriate for a plant like this. I'm now at the Mediterranean beds, and here you can see there's a proliferation of flower and texture. But sometimes it's worth looking at some of the more mundane, dull-looking background plants. So, for example, here beside us now, we have Acer sempervirens, or the Cretan maple. Looks very ordinary and has very small, lobed, almost leathery foliage. But it's the sort of keys or fruits at the moment that really are beautiful, with this vibrant red colouring and very sort of small structure. But when you look at those, you can really see why this is a relative of the sycamore. But as we move along, you can begin to see some of the textures and colours and forms that really go to make this a beautiful exemplar of a dry garden. So we've just come round past one of the grasses that's very familiar to many of us, the oat grass, giant oat grass, Stipa gigantea. Nestled amongst cistus here, phlomis, spurges, so this is Euphorbia caracus subspecies Wolfenii. As we head on through, the lovely fennel, so Ferula communis, more cistus, lovely Iris pallida, and everything grown in this area has been chosen because it enjoys the conditions here in Cambridge of low rainfall, shallow soils and mild winters. Everything that plants that are grown here from the Mediterranean enjoy in their native habitats. So really do enjoy the weather that we're having at the moment, these dry conditions and hot, sunny, well-baked sites. So we're now here beside the peony border, and I just wanted to show you two plants that I think make a beautiful combination at the moment. So the first is this stunning blousy peony. This is Peonia subfruticosa Rox variety, and it sits beneath this very delicate lilac. So this is Syringa tomentella var Sweginzophii, which is from China and Tibet, and just the combination of the fragrance of both the flowers and their forms and the scent is amazing here. It's just a real highlight at the moment. now standing beside the stream garden, and here there's a great range of flowers, but the giant here is Gunnera manicata, which you can see is a tremendous size, dwarfs me definitely. And this is one of the largest herbaceous perennials that you can grow in our English gardens. It comes from South America and it will die down over winter. We give it protection with leaves or mulch just to try and protect it from frosts. It throws up these gigantic leaves every year, and their upper surface is very, very roughly textured, and their underside is spined. So if you look down the veins, it has tiny spines which get bigger as you get further and further down the stem. And then in the centre of the leaves, there's this gigantic flower spike where each of these finger-like features is covered in many, many hundreds of tiny, tiny flowers. It's a beautiful, almost prehistoric looking flower, but definitely worth featuring in a streamside or waterside garden. We're now in the woodland garden beside one of the highlights at the moment, which is Halesia diptera, which has these beautiful white pendant flowers. It has the common name snowdrop or snowbell tree, which is highly appropriate. It's a native of the southeastern United States. It's one of 5 species within the genus Halesia and enjoys the moist, damp conditions of the woodland garden here. The whole of the tree is about 5 metres in height, and it's actually one of our champion trees here in the garden. But it's full from head to toe in these beautiful, pure white pendant flowers. A real thrill at this time of year for the spring garden. You may hear here in the background some noise of machinery, which is our staff carrying on tending the garden while we're in lockdown. But I wanted to point out as we come through the woodland some of the plants that it's very easy to overlook as you're walking through. So here we have a member of the tropical family Anonaceae. This is the American pawpaw, Asimina triloba, and it takes its name, triloba, from the 3 calyx lobes at the back of the flower. It's a very, very discreet flower, has 3 petals and has this sultry, almost browny burgundy look about it, but quite a charmer as well. And then if we head on through, we'll stop and look at this curiosity. So nestled in here behind the giant rhubarb or the rheum is dead man's fingers, Decaisnia fargesii, and it has these beautiful, subtle, limey yellow flowers which are pendant, almost bell-shaped in form. And these are followed in autumn by spongy, pod-like fruits which take in a black colouring. They're very, very soft and are given the name dead man's fingers because of their apparent, reputed similarity to those fingers of a dead man. And further through the woodland garden, we'll just stop and take in one last highlight for this tour. So nestled in the understory of the woodland, these beautiful foliage of this wonderful member of the arum family. So this is Aracema. It's an unknown species, so we need to get it identified, but you can see here the spathe surrounding the spadix there, which is typical of all members of the arum family. And if you look down the stem, it has this amazing, almost kind of camouflaged mottling colours, varying from browny oranges through to greens, which make it very, very distinct in the garden in its appearance, but do help probably camouflage it and hide it in its background foliage where it grows in the wild. Thank you for joining me today for this tour. I hope you've enjoyed the plants that I've picked out as my highlights, and perhaps some of the lesser known plants that you might see when you're visiting. We do hope that you'll be able to join us later in the year to come and enjoy other highlights as the floral year progresses here at the Botanic Garden.